Jon Jones has never been one to shy away from controversy, and this time, he took it to a new level.
Johnny Bones, go! Rolling up here for DBX4.
What's going on, DBX4? I'm excited to be here. What's up, Nashville, Tennessee?
How do you have a better entrance than this to the White House, Johnny Bones?
We gotta do it right. We got the beautiful horse with the eye patch on. We're having a good night.
Here it is, DBX4. Let's get this party started!
After the chaotic ending of UFC 321, where Tom Aspinall's heavyweight title fight ended in a no contest due to an eye poke, Jones decided to rub salt in the wound. He arrived at the Dirty Boxing 4 weigh-ins on horseback, of all things, but what really caught everyone's attention was the horse itself, sporting an eye patch. The message couldn't have been more obvious. Jones was taking a public jab at Aspinall, mocking the British fighter's unfortunate ending to his title bout with Cyril Gane. The incident at UFC 321 had already left fans divided and emotional. Aspinall, defending his heavyweight belt, saw the fight with Gane stopped just under 5 minutes into the first round when Gane's outstretched fingers accidentally jabbed his eye. Unable to see properly, Aspinall couldn't continue, and referee Jason Herzog had no choice but to call it a no contest. The fight had barely begun, yet it ended in chaos, leaving fans stunned and disappointed. What was meant to be a high-stakes championship clash became another entry in the long list of UFC bouts ruined by accidental fouls.
He got fingered, 2 in the eyes. One of his fingers even went in his mouth. Oh, like, it was deep. Cyril Gane was looking so good in that first round. Tom Aspinall's nose was bleeding. Cyril was landing with that jab. I got a heavyweight. You go in there, and a lot of the times a heavyweight, you see guys not really engage too much because it takes one punch, especially from 2 big punches like that. And Tom was kind of pushed, like coming forward. Cyril was landing beautiful jabs, circling around. He won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight.
In the hours following the fight, emotions ran high across social media. While many sympathized with Aspinall's situation, others, including Jones, took a more ruthless approach. Jones, who had been the focus of numerous debates regarding his refusal to face Aspinall, seized the opportunity to poke fun at his rival. The former UFC champion's stunt with the horse drew immediate backlash, especially from fans who saw it as unnecessary mockery. Online, critics tore into Jones for the act, calling him out for dodging Aspinall when the matchup was first proposed. Some accused him of ducking the British champion for years, saying that it was hypocritical for him to ridicule someone he'd repeatedly avoided in the cage. Others highlighted how Jones had turned down a fight offer reportedly worth $30 million before announcing his retirement, a decision that opened the door for Aspinall to be promoted to undisputed heavyweight champion. For those fans, Jones's recent actions only reinforced his reputation for stirring drama outside the octagon rather than stepping inside it.
The first time I fought Jon Jones, I was 36 years old, and 38 the second time. He was in his mid-20s when he fought all these great legends, but he fought them all when he was in his mid-20s. Now, he's now what, 37, 38 years old? This kid's young. He's the older guy. He's been through the wars. It doesn't matter how great you are. When you go through that many battles, it will show. The Gustafsson fight, Thiago Santos, all those guys that fought him close, that takes its toll. I think that this kid is as dangerous for him. I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better.
Despite the backlash, Jones didn't seem fazed. He continued to make light of the situation, showing up at the event relaxed and grinning as he sat atop his horse. It was classic Jon Jones, confident, mocking, and completely unbothered by public opinion. Still, his latest move reignited discussions about his reluctance to face Aspinall, a fight that many had wanted to see before his abrupt retirement announcement. Interestingly, Jones has hinted at a return, eyeing a potential comeback fight on a proposed UFC card at the White House. Instead of targeting Aspinall, though, he has set his sights on Alex Pereira, the UFC's light heavyweight champion. Pereira, known for his striking power and calm demeanor, has also expressed interest in facing Jones, a matchup that would certainly draw global attention if it materializes.
So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be on that card. It's going to be historic.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, no, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. be only fitting to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, and I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
Meanwhile, outside the ring, others in the fight world have been busy weighing in on the fallout from UFC 321. Bare-knuckle fighter and promoter Mike Perry, who was preparing for his own Dirty Boxing 4 event, viewed the outcome as an unexpected win for Jones. Perry argued that while the fight between Aspinall and Gane had no official winner, the chaos surrounding it ultimately worked in Jones's favor. According to Perry, it only reaffirmed Jones's dominance and legacy as one of the greatest fighters ever. Perry, known for his blunt honesty, spoke highly of Jones's career longevity and success. He pointed out that few fighters have managed to stay at the top for over 2 decades like Jones has. To him, Jones's career was nearly untouchable, a rare combination of skill, intelligence, and adaptability. Perry also mentioned that while Aspinall is an extremely talented fighter, he had essentially stepped into Jones's shoes too soon, calling for a fight that was perhaps out of reach. The British heavyweight had momentum, confidence, and fan support, but Perry believed there was still a significant gap between him and someone like Jones, whose resume and experience were unmatched.
But as far as the poke itself and how the fight just ending that way, what did you think about it? And you know, you got Chael and Anthony Smith saying like, look man, fight with one eye, like this is a title fight, like keep going. And then there's other people saying like, dude, you haven't fought in 455 days, you're defending your title for the first time, you just got poked in the eye. It hasn't been going spectacular.
Diego Sanchez, I think he got kneed on the ground or he got an eye poke or something, and he was like, you know what? I can't continue.
Take the win.
And he got his pay and win. He got that show and win money, boy. Sometimes you got to do what's smarter for you and not just all of it for the entertainment of the fans. I mean, it was smarter that Aspinall saved some of his record. You go back in there with one eye. You don't have that mean streak in you because Gane's landing shots and you know, you're not sure what you can do with one eye, or the pain in your eye is bothering you so bad you can't even focus and concentrate. You know, it gets him a no contest on his record, so it's not a defeat, and he'll come back. Like Dana White said, it makes the rematch look more appealing, and that's the fight game, man. These things happen. People on the internet who don't fight, or even if they do and they just don't at a high level, somebody's always going to have something to say, and it never matters. The only ones that matter are the ones who put the time in, put the work, the effort, make the weights. Or
the aftermath of the fight even drew a reaction from UFC CEO Dana White, who didn't fully back Aspinall in his post-fight remarks. Instead of focusing on Gane's foul, White highlighted that Aspinall didn't continue, which sparked more debate within the MMA community. Perry, however, brushed off the controversy, saying that at the end of the day, Jones came out looking like the biggest winner. He explained that now with Gane holding his own against Aspinall before the eye poke, it made Jones's performance seem even more elite in hindsight. Perry praised Jones for seeing things that others didn't, including recognizing Pereira as a more exciting and worthy opponent long before fans started calling for that fight.
Or do the hard parts and get in the ring and perform.
What do you think about this whole, he's a quitter, he looked for a way out because the going got tough, and now he had an excuse because he got poked in the eye?
I mean, I would look for a way to save that O on my record. If we're in there and I'm getting touched up and bloody and I got one eye, if there's any thought in my head that it's like I can't come back and win this fight, then I need to find a new strategy. And you know, fast feet, think quick. You know, he thought quick, or he got poked, and you know, through that pain of something like that, sometimes that's all you can focus on. You know, Dana is get him oiled up, man. Him and John are back best friends again. We can all be happy about it. John is the true legend that we knew he was. And I hate that sometimes you even thought otherwise. Maybe Tom could do something. Maybe this, maybe that. No, it's facts are facts. And one fact I know is that I'm the king of violence, because this bare knuckle shit is real, dog.
Elsewhere, opinions continued to pour in. Welterweight veteran Matt Brown had a more technical take on the whole situation. He felt that Aspinall could have had a much easier fight against Gane if he had relied more on his wrestling. Brown pointed out that Aspinall has strong grappling skills that often get overlooked because of his striking ability. If he had mixed in takedowns earlier, Brown believed he might have been able to control Gane the way Jones did during their bout. According to Brown, the rematch, whenever it happens, could tilt in Aspinall's favor if he embraces that wrestling-heavy approach.
What did you make of how the fight was going? Because now I feel like a lot of tales have been spun about him getting his ass whooped, like this was going to be some sort of 10-8 round for Ciryl. What did you think, and how did you think it was going to end up?
Well, it was going to be a 10-8 round. I don't think it was a very close fight, but I thought it was shaping up to be a hell of a good fight that I really wanted to see. So I think that could have been one of the great heavyweight wars. As a matter of fact, I think that was shaping up to be a great fight. And I was interested to see Aspinall's game plan, because it looked like his game plan was to stand with him. He didn't really push hard for any takedowns. And my guess is probably that he was just waiting for the right time to go for the takedown. And, we got to assume that if he was able to land the takedown, it'd probably be a much easier fight for him.
You think he wins the rematch?
I would still put my money on Aspinall, but if his game plan is going to be to stand with him, it's kind of a 50-50,
While fighters debated strategy, analysts and fans were more concerned about the bigger issue, the eye pokes themselves. UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping, who now works as a commentator, called the situation a complete disaster. He criticized the current glove design and the way fighters often extend their fingers forward when measuring distance. In his opinion, it was an outdated habit that needed to change immediately. Bisping argued that the solution was simple: close the fists, stop reaching with open hands, and let the strikes do the talking. His comments echoed what many fighters and fans have been saying for years, that the UFC needs to fix its gloves before another major title fight ends the same way.
They've got to do something about these eye pokes. The rule is you got to have your hands like this, but you can still have your fingers out straight. You can't do that, you can do that. That's the stupidest rule I've ever seen in my life. Make a fist. Simple as that. You're throwing punches, and yeah, you got to parry shots, but you just got to unbend your fingers. It's really not that hard. This is a stupid rule.
That conversation only grew louder as experts weighed in. Dr. Brian Sutterer, a well-known sports physician who often breaks down injuries on YouTube, debunked the claims that Aspinall was exaggerating the damage. He explained that any fighter who temporarily loses vision should be stopped immediately for safety reasons. Continuing under those circumstances could lead to irreversible injury. He emphasized that protecting a fighter's eyesight should always come first, no matter how big the event or how disappointed the fans might be.
In this case, for certainly Aspinall's right eye, it seems like his eyelid was closed. His left eye, it seems like that fingernail of Ciryl Gane does get underneath his eyelid. But what we also have to remember is it's not just about the contact to the eyeball itself, but also the direct pressure that is being applied onto the eye and what that can do in terms of pain and real trauma, damage, potentially vision threatening to the eyeball. So, number one thing that we're going to care about with an eye poke that's going to cause the majority of that immediate reaction is going to be something called a corneal abrasion. Looking at our biodigital anatomy tool here in a cross-section of the eye looking straight on, the cornea is going to be the thin, sort of superficial layer of cells that are the first thing that your finger is going to come into contact with whenever you poke somebody in the eye. Whenever that cornea is injured, we call it a corneal abrasion, and you actually are tearing, damaging the cells that make up that cornea. Of course, if you have dirt on your finger, the fingernail, anything that's not like a perfectly smooth surface with any bit of little dirt or dust can cause a tear in that actual tissue making up that cornea. And what that's going to do is not cause necessarily vision-threatening damage, but it will cause your eye to tear up. It will cause this reflexive reaction where it is extremely hard to keep your eyes open because your body wants to protect your eye. And when it senses trauma, when there's damage to the eye, It's going to reflexively want to tear up to protect things. It's going to want to stay closed.
Aspinall did, however, find support from some of his peers. Paddy Pimblett, his fellow Brit, expressed deep disappointment that the fight had to end the way it did. For him, it wasn't just about Aspinall. It was a massive letdown for fans who had been looking forward to one of the most anticipated heavyweight fights in recent memory. Pimblett didn't blame Gane, recognizing that the poke was unintentional, but he urged the UFC to take serious action to prevent similar situations in the future. Like Joe Rogan, Pimblett pushed for the organization to redesign its gloves, arguing that no fighter should lose a belt or risk permanent damage because of poorly designed equipment.
And then 15 seconds left in the round, gets poked in the eye, and he can't see. So I don't know really what Tom's meant to do there. If he can't see, he can't be fighting, can he? Like, I know Bisbin fought with one eye, but that was because he had to. Tom doesn't have to fight with one eye. So hopefully they just get that fight booked again, because that was shaping up to be Tom's toughest test he's ever had in the UFC. So hopefully that fight gets rebooked sooner rather than later. They're heavyweights. It's not like they need to do a big weight cut to get down to fight weight. As long as Tom's eyes okay, get that fight back on early next year. If they're ready to go by the end of this year, get it on the December pay-per-view. Just as soon as you can get that fight going again, get it going. Next pay-per-view is a big one though.
But not everyone was sympathetic. Former middleweight contender Chael Sonnen gave a much harsher take, suggesting that fighting with one eye isn't uncommon in the sport. He acknowledged that eye pokes are illegal, but argued that champions in the past have fought through worse. In his view, Aspinall should have at least tried to continue, given the magnitude of the fight. His comments immediately sparked backlash, with many accusing him of being tone-deaf and dismissive of the actual danger involved.
Anthony? No, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I talked all day yesterday. Like, I just want to see Tom have to overcome some adversity. I want to see what he does when when his first plan of action doesn't work. What's he checked down to? Is he gonna wrestle? Can he compete with Cyril Gane on his feet for 25 minutes? And I don't get any of those answers, and just like everybody at home, I'm disappointed.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eye, he's trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite, we're trying to show grace, but in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye at times.
Former flyweight legend Demetrius Johnson weighed in from a technical standpoint. He explained that eye pokes are nearly impossible to eliminate completely because open hand movements are an instinctive part of striking and defense. Fighters naturally extend their hands to measure distance or parry incoming shots, and that reflex can't be entirely trained out of them. Johnson expressed sympathy for Aspinall, acknowledging that accidents like this are inevitable in a sport that blends so many martial arts disciplines. It wasn't about negligence or weakness, it was simply an unfortunate consequence of how MMA is fought.
Oh, keeps eye poking, man. Once again, it's MMA. If somebody's coming at me and I go like this, it's my hands coming out. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. That's one thing people don't understand. Like, it looks like the other eye got more penetration than the one he's closing right now. What the fuck? That sucks ass. He was fighting a wonderful fight. Right there, we can see that, like, that's how you can get Tom Aspinall troubles, is by always turning the angle on him, never give him the opportunity to run you over. Obviously, the accident foul was an accident, right? But the way he had his hands on Tom Aspinall's face is the correct technique to do. If you go back and watch John Jones, he's a great eye poker, but if you go back and watch the greats who do body kick, if you go back and watch my fights, when I throw body kicks or I throw leg kicks, my hands are here, they're open. So once again, you're never going to fix eye pokes in mixed martial arts.
In the end, UFC 321 left more questions than answers. The no contest robbed fans of a definitive result, and the aftermath spiraled into a storm of debates, opinions, and social media drama. Jon Jones, ever the showman, capitalized on the chaos with his theatrics, keeping his name in the headlines even while retired. Aspinall, meanwhile, found himself defending not just his belt, but his toughness and character. And as the dust settles, the only thing that's certain is that this controversy isn't going away anytime soon. Between Jones's antics, the growing calls for glove reform, and the looming possibility of a rematch, UFC fans are already bracing for the next chapter in a story that refuses to die down.